Hello? 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 Can we be frank? The idea of content creation disturbs me. I'm sitting here talking into a microphone, saying to myself, well, hey, if we are producing content, we might as well produce oh my goodness, content. Right now, we are producing content at scale. And we're asking ourselves, have we already committed to the production of content? For me, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, well, we have finally, we have recorded our playlists, our first collection of category specific playlists. 1 through 4 at least, minimum. We're talking the culture commentary quick pick series. We're talking our social science quick pick series. We're talking our esoteric quick pick series. We're talking our natural science quick pick series. We're talking our crypto quick pick series. And we're also talking our politics quick pick series. Depending on our publishing schedule, we will also have included our Call of Duty quick pick series. So I guess now it behooves me to explain this or to discuss this or to invoke a sense of culture commentary surrounding this circumstance and what it means for me and what it means to me, because I started this, hey, what does it mean to be a content consumer? What does it mean to be a content creator? For me, thinking about the process of creation, it's so tedious. It's this specific pathway of marketing that, as a content consumer, it's so foreign to me. It's so antithetical to all that I know. And it's as crazy as it is fascinating to think about, okay, well, wait, so what does this mean? Like, what do you expect? I'm sitting here like, wait, well, I am a content curator. I curate content. Why? Because I used to just be a consumer. But in the wake of the development of the internet, in the wake of infinite content, in the wake of misinformation and disinformation campaigns and YouTube adpocalypses, I needed a way to organize my consume digest. I needed a way to organize my content consumption experience. And I guess that's part of the context that I'm speaking to, trying to give a projection of my lived experience, like situating like, hey. I first and foremost am a content consumer because I'm not a content creator. And like, that's deeply internalized, and that's real for me as a dichotomy, because I guess I'm saying that it exists. I'm saying that it did exist. I'm saying that identity means something to me as an experience. In our previous entry, we don't necessarily know how to hypergraph link content entries. This is the second entry. Should probably do some sort of numbering schema on the screen. That probably would be nice, wouldn't it? Okay, so what is this? Entry number 2. Are we doing 15-minute blocks for these? Okay, pause. Right now we would have an agent, an AI agent, spend about maybe 70 cents in compute. Can we abstract that far? Okay, less than $3. Hopefully that's all that it would take to accomplish that task just now in some defined time. But in between, we're giving our experience and we're saying, yeah, there's something ontologically different about content consumers and content creators, to the extent that any level of sort of interaction with videos almost transfers yourself into the role of content creation as a part of the content ecosystem, the living, breathing ecosystem of interacting with videos. And so I start there with a lot of a sort of this contextual, self-encapsulated experience as a content consumer. I'm a content consumer. I'm just a content consumer. Oh, come on now. What? The creators out there, they have their monetization pathways and portals. How do we find a way to contextualize our experience as a consumer that gives life to the experience, that contextual, right? Because right now I'm a creator right now. I don't necessarily have a way to share that, to bridge that, to define that experience of content consumption in any way that does it justice. It kind of, I mean, it irks me. I mean, I'm kind of speaking through it at different modes of abstraction. We're starting with, oh my gosh, the process of content creation. It's tedious. It's mandated. Society and its cultural ramps, monetization, economic, just going through it. Dang, what about the consumers out there? And then being like, hey, what are you talking about, bro? 10 years out, 15 years out, like, what? How long has it been since, monetization sort of swept through in between? Well, no, we don't. Like, this is not like they just, the early people, what? We just post. We have a blog. We just create, And as a consumer, as a person just searching through the hypergraph of the internet, the hypergraph versus a hypergraph, which you have access to in your 1, 2, 3 degrees of separation through a search term, your linguistic intent, finding people with similar intent to the extent that their content matches what you were looking for, and just getting a snapshot of that as an experience, as a conscious sentient experience that a human was transiting through, that they decided to share, like that for me is the apex pinnacle of the experience of a content consumer. Not just the journey of the sort of that initial idea or aha that leads you down an initial search journey, and not the concretization of, woo, we found the information, but everything in between that cycle or that loop. As an experience in culture. For me, it's fascinating to think about how that has conditioned my experience. And I guess to come full circle, it's like, oh my god, yeah. Whew. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness, what do we do? What do we do? Okay, wait, as a consumer, I consume. Okay, I consume, I consume, I consume. But what do I consume? And what does that even mean? And why would you want someone to watch what you watch, to comment on that, to share and bridge that as a community experience? What is that, and what stems that? What spurs that? What I mean, I'm like, well, that's the bridge for creation, right? Maybe it's the classic marketing argument. I don't think I'm necessarily speaking to the point in general, but painting with a broad outline and saying, well, first and foremost, we kind of ground this idea downstream of natural science technique, specifically in relation to Stephen Wolfram's work in general, but not specifically, because the use and the invocation of a heuristic like a hypergraph was a powerful aspect of technique for me. Not only because graph theory underwrites large, very extremely large sections of information science, computer science, and how we think of applications, the internet, computers, technology, user interfaces, and cybernetic ecologies at large. Hello, if you expected me to pick up where I left off in my train of thought, that will not be happening. But I'd like to bring back up content consumption, content curation, and content creation. And I want to double back to that. Content creation. Its form, its structure, its purpose. Content creation. Your outlet, your outreach, your content marketing product, and content curation. That video. What does it mean in terms of a person's larger consume digest? What does it mean in terms of the content landscape itself? What is a single video? What does that mean to you as a consumer? And looking on it in the present moment versus looking back on it 5 years from now, what will that video have meant to a culture at large, to the culture at large? Was that the video of that year, of that quarter? Was this an obscure video with a low view count because you had a niche interest within a specific period of time? It seems so obscure to kind of make reference to that as content. But for me as a curator, that's what I create. That's my journey of creation as a content consumer. Here at As an Aggregator, we say it starts with a title, because that's how you begin your journey to create playlists, to use playlists to enhance your consume digest, to transform you from a passive content consumer to an active content consumer, and to utilize digital artifacts to inform your experience over time, not just as a consumer, but as a creator, if that's a content marketing journey that you'd like to take up professionally, or as a hobby, or just for the love of the game, for the love of creation. To double back to those YouTube videos, hey, is it better to be a content creator, or is it better to be a content consumer? Is it better to be a content curator? Well, we have to introduce curation into that mix. But as of today, as of right now in Q1 2025, I still say it's better to be a consumer, hands down. But as you find me here today, I am in fact operating as a creator. So who am I to speak for the consumers out there just consuming? Can I dip my toe in one field, dip my toe in another? Is that an absolute reflection? Is that a variable reflection? Is that an affordance offered to me as a content curator? These are questions I'd like to ask myself and ask others. Leave feedback in the comments section or on the comments channel. If you have enjoyed this entry, this episode, this instance, click here right now for one of our category specific playlists.